Reilly Smith from Vegas in exchange for Vegas' own third-round pick next season in 2024, and then the selection of Brayden Yager at 14th overall tonight. So two important parts of business for the present and the future, much in the way that we've kind of mapped this out and planned to do it. And so exciting day for us, and looking forward to continuing that tomorrow and then later this week. So on that note, I'll turn it over for questions.
Hi, Josh. Kyle, first of all, how long have you been in talks with Vegas? I'm curious just how quickly this came together, and what is it about Reilly that you thought was the proper fit?
It's only been this week. Obviously, Vegas was quite busy until a couple of weeks ago, and enjoy their celebration, and then obviously start to get to work on their off season. Kelly and I have a very good relationship, and so this week we started to have talks. We think Reilly's a great fit because he's extremely reliable defensively, in addition to being able to produce very reliably over 20 goals and 50 points in nearly every single season, the last number, especially with Vegas, and then coming off winning a Stanley Cup and being a really important part of that, can kill penalties, can play left wing and right wing. He did that in the playoffs for Vegas, and we view it to kind of be able to interchange him throughout the top of our lineup. So with the cost being what it was, obviously this is a strange market for that. We just thought it was something that was too good for us to pass up, and we're very excited about that.
Kyle, Brayden Yager, just what did you like about him, and what stood out to you that you want to go with him at 14?
For us with Brayden, he was in a mix of players that we were really hoping would drop down to 14, Seth. So the things that we like about him are that he competed as a center in a really difficult division against Winnipeg, against Regina, against Saskatoon, all really high quality teams. They won a playoff series and they fell to Winnipeg along the way in the second round, but he had to go against really difficult competition. He doubled his assist total year to year, but I think more importantly, in addition to his production, was the way that he played defensively, the way that he drove possession out of his own zone, played the whole rink, skated through the middle of the rink, able to make plays, able to be the defensive conscience of his line while also still producing offensively. The scouting staff was very excited about him, and we were thrilled to be able to get him at our pick.
Yeah, Kyle, just with the chatter that's been going on right now and the cap's not moving, how do you think league-wide how busy it's going to be in terms of the trades and things in the next 7 to 10 days?
It's impossible to predict. I wish I could, but it seems like it's going to be quite busy. It could also be one of these situations, size, where you're expecting a lot, and then it goes a little slower than it has the last couple of years. I think we started to see that a little bit last year as big time free agents went until August off the top of my head, where they were still unsigned, and especially now more and more teams as the years have gone on, their salary cap space has started to dwindle. At the same time, you have your own young players coming up you want to re-sign and keep. You see a trade like the Winnipeg and Los Angeles one this week, where it's a good young player, really good young player getting moved, and Winnipeg doing great on their return. It's those win-win type trades for the great young players, and then the trades where you usually expect to pay more, get more for the more established guys. And so we thought our move today was better than waiting till free agency, and just the term in dollars on Reilly were right.
What can you tell us about where things stand with Tristan Jarry and Jason Zucker, and does the Smith trade affect what happens with Zucker at all?
So what was the trade?
Does that affect what happens?
Oh, the Smith trade. Okay, sorry. Thanks, Taylor. We're still having conversations with all of them. It's you're trying to have conversations with them, respecting of what they've done for the franchise in the past. At the same time, trying to get a read on, as different trades happen, different teams fill their needs, what the demand is going to be for all of your own players. With regards to the Smith trade relative to Jason, I think we want to continue to build our depth. So we'll continue to engage with Eustace King and O2K and his group about it. It certainly doesn't close the door. I understand how important he has been to the team and is to the group. So if there is a solution there, as we kind of sort through where we're at, it's certainly not closed at all.
Hey Kyle, did you get any calls regarding the 14th overall pick, and was there anything that came across your plate that you had to strongly consider?
Yeah, there were calls. I think especially as you get down, there are always calls that kind of come in, but nothing that really moved us to want to move away from taking Braden.
Hey, Kyle.
What does this day mean for you and this team that you can now start putting your vision in place, which is to try to build for the present and the future, which is sort of what you did today with this trade and the draft?
Yeah, it's the whole month has sort of been building up to this weekend. It's getting ready to meet the staff. There's some great people on the staff, and Andy Socher and Eric Keesley have been a massive support. And earlier this week we hired Jason. Jason can't be involved in the draft or free agency, so we'll look forward to having him be fully on board in mid-July or whatever was the negotiated date on that. But earlier in the week we filled our need on the salary cap side with Buki Mapufu from the LA Kings, and so we're starting to put the staff together and seeing the staff grow, and then also you get to actually execute on the different planning and different things. So the trade today and then the draft pick, and I think it's great for the staff as well, because it's obviously a little bit uneasy. There's been a lot of change, and trying to actually get here and do work with each other and experience how everyone works together. It's been very enjoyable.
Kyle, there it is. Sorry. Hi, Kyle. With the selection of Braden, how much did his position play a role in that? You're trying to build the center depth of your organization as well?
I think you're always trying to build your center depth, but he was simply the top player on our board at the time we picked, which I know is the biggest cliche in all the sports where there's drafts, but that was just the reality. And if his position had been different, it would have had no impact on us. So it was all good. It's much easier to fill those positions in the draft, but now we have to get to the development part and turn it over to Tom Koslopoulos and his staff and have them get to work with it.
Kyle, over here, sorry. Two, if I may. One, do you hope to come out of this draft with it being so close to the start of free agency with firm idea of where you stand with the UFA guys in terms of having to move on or bring in? And also, do you have plans to this summer add more to your hockey ops department? And have you had talks with anyone at this draft about that?
So the first question, Rob, I think that until we sign a player or they sign elsewhere, there's just time that we can use. So you'd like to have a clear indication, but there's so many unknowns in the whole marketplace that it gets a little bit tough to do that overall. But I think every day and every trade that happens, you learn a little bit more about what's happening in the marketplace and how that's going to affect your cap dollars, different opportunities that are out there for you to use your salary cap dollars. Particularly with some positions, as other teams that have them available start to fill them, how that's going to impact supply and demand. And so we're focused on that as well and just trying to get a good read on it. And then with regards to our hockey operations department, I think the way that I kind of put things into buckets was, with Vuki, we wanted to get him in and get him hired and rolling because it's an important time for the salary cap contract, CBA compliance people. With the rest of it, I kind of, in my head, have pushed it to July 5th, which is our development camp will end, and then we'll get to focus on building out the rest of our hockey operations department and our people on the ground in Pittsburgh.
Kyle, Reilly Smith's been a pretty effective player off the rush throughout his career. Is that part of what made him appealing to you? And is it just a general goal for you this season to improve the Penguins off the rush?
I think with regards to generating offense, I think you always want to be a great team off the rush. You want to be a great team in zone, through whatever method you're going to play in zone, cycle, driving play to the middle, and then you want to be a great team defending the rush and defending all of those things. So I think it's safe to say that we're trying to improve every single thing about the group. And with the acquisition of Reilly, it was more how would he fit with our players that currently are already on the roster, Danny. So all of those things were considered, yes, but I don't want to get too deeply into them because that could kind of tip our hand for other stuff.
Kyle, good to see you. Just wanted to ask you about the free agency in general coming up. How do you see the market? Some years there's big names, some years not. This one seems like there's a lot of sort of middle tier players. Sure. Is that just sort of a reflection of the flat cap and teams extending guys earlier, and just how these big dates have kind of not become as big anymore?
Sure, I think, Josh, what you've seen happen is teams with their younger players, especially, they want to get them locked in for 8 years right at the end of their entry level, and it sort of, you know, depletes what actually gets to free agency. And I think now you're seeing a lot more. I think it's just, I don't know this for certain, but it feels like players want to sign sooner and get locked in, and that there's just more available in trade. And I think that's frankly a result of the cap just staying flat, and teams needing to adapt and adjust and be able to find a way to be compliant while also remaining competitive.